Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this Hancock County Commission to order this 6th day of October 2016. Remind you to turn off all cellular devices. We appreciate that. Roll call.
Mr. President, all county commissioners are present.
So we have a quorum. Item 2, approval of the minutes, approval of county commission minutes for September 15, 2016.
Move to approve as presented.
Questions, corrections, comments? None? Motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Donna Jaluka, Administrative Services, Hancock County Health Department, presenting information regarding the upcoming Breast Cancer Awareness Walk and requesting approval of a proclamation recognizing October 8th. This is all one sentence. As Cumberland Breast Cancer Awareness Day and October 2016 is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Donna? Did I get the last name right?
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. The Health Department, again, for the second year, has been approached by the West Virginia Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening Program to host this walk on Saturday, October 8th. We are pleased to join with them to raise awareness of the need for breast cancer and cervical cancer screenings, to honor survivors of breast cancer, and to remember those who have lost their battle with this horrible disease. The registration for the walk will begin at 9 a.m. We will do a memorial balloon launch, and then we'll walk at 10. We'll be walking from the courthouse parking lot down to New Cumberland Prescription Center and back. It's approximately a mile, give or take a few feet. This is the only walk that is going to be held in Hancock County for the entire month. We have been getting sponsorships from the south end, from Weirton, all the way through the north to Chester. So today I'm here to ask you for your support for the walk and for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm asking you to proclaim by proclamation October 8th as Breast Cancer Awareness Day in Hancock County and October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also, I just want to tell you too, side note, all this money that we raise will stay in West Virginia and will go to the West Virginia Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening Program and possibly be used by women here in Hancock County. So none of this is going to research or anything else. This is a fund that was developed in 1996 by the state legislature, and they've asked us whenever possible to reimburse some funds back into that fund. So that's what we're doing on Saturday. I invite everyone here to come over by the health department. We have a lot of door prizes that were donated that we're going to be giving away after the walk. It's supposed to be a nice morning, so thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you for your
Thank you.
Did a nice job last year.
Oh, we did. Thank you for your support, Commissioner.
A motion, we accept the proclamation to make October 8th Hancock County Breast Cancer Awareness Day and the month of October Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay. Discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business. We have a couple of items on the table. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Move to bring A off the table. It's the approval to appoint an individual to Hancock County Health Board.
Motion to bring it off the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion. So the item is open.
I'd like to make a motion. Dr. Cal McPherson to the open seat on the Hancock County Health Board.
We have a motion. Discussion.
We had a lot of good applicants, so we had five people apply for the position. We were able to interview all five, and again, they were all good candidates. Just like to thank them for taking time to apply for our board. Sometimes we have difficulty in getting folks to want to participate and devote time to the board. So, thank them for their interest in doing so.
I just concur with Commissioner Davis's remarks. Usually we only have one person for any given appointment. We had 5 this time. We did interview and we're pleased with all of the candidates. And again, thank them for that. Further discussion? Call for a vote on the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. I'd like a roll call vote. I didn't hear. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, aye. Motion carries 2-1. Item B. Still tabled? Counselor, can you give me light on this?
My understanding from the information received from the county clerk's office is that the matter was agreed to be dismissed, and the matter is no longer needed for a 3 o'clock hearing today. It is currently on the table. So basically, they're just asking you to go ahead and formally dismiss it. Parties.
So we need to bring it up.
What was on the table was a motion to dismiss by one of the council. Basically, that matter just could be heard at the hearing set for 3 o'clock. But now it's been agreed that the matter should be dismissed. So the point is moot, but if you want to just take it off the table and make it official, that would be fine, to have it on the record.
I agree. I make a motion to remove the Executrix Council. Oh, that's the one that's dismissing it. I make a motion to remove item B from old business and dismiss it.
I'd probably motion to take it off the table first.
I'll move to bring item B under old business off the table.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's now off.
I motion to dismiss item B that was under old business. Dismiss it.
As it's a moot point.
It's moot point, yeah.
Discussion of the motion?
One question. If it needs to be brought back, it can be at a later date if council needs.
They can file their own motion again.
But we don't have to last today any longer.
Correct.
Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Correspondent, looks like that we do not have any. New business. Approval to appoint an individual to the Hancock County Park and Recreation Board.
Mr. President, we've applied, or we've advertised for this in the past. Just so happened we got 2 applicants, and at this point we only have 1 vacancy. So I'm going to ask that we set up an interview process for the 2 applicants, have them come in and talk with the commission, and then we can decide from that point who we can appoint to the park board. So again, the motion is to ask the 2 applicants to come in and meet with the commission.
Discussion?
Mr. Vitus, would you be able to contact these 2 individuals and gentlemen? Time frame? Our next meeting
Next
date?
meeting early. Hopefully it works for them.
for the 20th of October, sometime that day.
Yeah. fine with me.
Great.
Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business 2, approved to advertise on the county website for an opening on the Public Defenders Corporation Board for the First Judicial Circuit. Motion?
Move to approve.
Discussion? I can talk to this as I've been our representative for years on the Public Defenders Board. It's an interesting board. It meets 4 times a year. I think the only qualifications here is you cannot be a lawyer. Okay, you have to be a non-attorney to serve on this board. And again, 4 times a year you meet in, usually it's, because it's the whole upper district, so usually you meet at Brooke County's courthouse 4 times a year. It's interesting. I enjoy being on it. It doesn't have to be a commissioner, although it can be. It can be anyone in the public, Hancock County resident. So we're going to, we'll just put that on our website for anyone who's interested in that. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3, approval of resolution to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services for the West Virginia Justice Assistance Program grant for 1617 Prevention Resource Officer Pro.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
The funding this year, oh, here it is. It's up to $40,000 for the pro officer, Karen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what you're getting over there.
Yes, sir.
And that's the same as it has been
Yes, sir.
last year, I should say. Okay.
Further discussion?
But I think at any cost that the county incurs over this at the current time in society, that this is a well worth program that was instituted in the schools. I actually was on the board when this program started, and I believe Mr. Fletcher, Sheriff Fletcher, you can vow that it's a deterrent.
Yes, it's it really is very successful in so many ways for the children interacting with the officers, as well as the security of the building itself and the security of all occupants. It's worked out really well. I'm quite pleased with the different programs that's been started over the years within the PRO system, and they continue to be very innovative, and they continue to be a great help to each individual school.
Those with some grants that are federally given, you know, that once the program works and they start to reduce the funding, that you don't want to get rid of that program. So
Initially, back when you voted for it, it was 90-10 split. We got a 90% grant. It's far from that now, but as commissioners have supported it continuously, even though we've lost grant monies, not from anything we've done improperly, because that fund has shrunk nationally. But with the commissioners continue to support it, it's grown. Very successful.
And the public supports this. This is on the school levy.
Oh, I don't think you can take it off right now.
That.
You couldn't take it off the board right now.
They pick up some, we pick up some, the city of Whitten picks up some.
Well, yes, it's split. It's by way of schools.
split.
It's by way of schools, but the salaries all break down pretty much exactly the same thing, benefits, etc. But yes, the school levy was able to this past school levy, we were able to fund an additional 3 officers to cover the elementary school, which has never been done before in the state at that point. So we've been innovative in getting officers into the schools, and as well as the programs that have really grown. It'd be interesting for the commission to take a walk through and talk to the different principals of each school and get their insight.
Further discussion, gentlemen? Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Item 4, approval of resolution to enter into contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services for the West Virginia Justice Assistance Program Transfer 1617 Drug Task Force, DTF.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
Just for the purpose of the press, it's a $126,000 grant.
Further discussion?
Apologize. It's 46. The next one is the $120-some thousand grant. Yes. Yeah, this grant's for 46,000.
Now I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I liked your first comment better. 5, approval resolution under contract agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services for the West Virginia Assistance Grant Program 1617, Victims of Crime Act, VOCA.
Move to approve.
Discussions, comments?
$125,979. The vision is correct now.
About time for some new Walmart glasses for you too, huh?
Starting to age.
Somebody's got to take over when you leave.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. 6, approval of the August 16th Animal Shelter Report.
Move to approve.
Discussions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Dog Warden, approval of the July 16th monthly report.
Move to approve.
Discussion. We thought we had our first barking dog down to 0, and it was a mistake on my spot. I without my glasses. So, other further discussion, comments? Move for a vote.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Prosecuting Attorney's Office requesting approval of staff changes. Should have been asterisk on there within budget, right?
Yes, sir. It'll just be an internal budget revision.
Internal budget revision.
Move. Go ahead.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff's Department. Item 1, requesting approval to hire Denzel Wilson and Kenneth Thorne as bailiffs.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. D2, requesting approval of new members of the Hancock County Sheriff's Reserve, Justin Walker and Todd Lang.
Move to approve.
Discussion? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finance, probates and estates approvals.
They have been reviewed and are recommended for approval.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General county bills, Karen.
General county bills for the meeting are $51,816.51. P-card payments for all funds is $38,233.03. And for the month of September, general county expenditures were $788,508.57.
Move to pay the bills. So we get a monthly total.
Yes, sir.
Question for Karen. Do you know offhand where we're at average on our regional jail bill a month?
This one was 50. This one was 42,000. I'm sorry. it was 50,000, almost 50,000.
Yeah.
So we're still,
That's running about the same each month?
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Fire allocation bills requisitions approved.
They're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Library levy?
All three submitted requisitions, and they're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Sheltered workshop.
And they submitted 2 requisitions, and they're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Comments, discussion, questions? All in
There is
favor?
a sheltered workshop levy going to be on the ballot from November. And, be nice to keep that thing supported, keep that levy supported.
Further comments? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizens' remarks. Same protocols we always use. Since we have a number of speakers, it will be limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Rosner.
Rudy Rosnick, RUDY, ROS, and ICK. Commissioner Schwartzmiller is quoted in the September 9th Weirton Daily Times article saying, "I'm tired of commenting on half-truths." Below are a series of public statements made to the Commission over the past few months. Which statement, is Mr. Schwartzmiller referring to as a half-truth? Statement number 1. The foundation raised $490,000 of the $520,000 required to build the current county shelter. The Commission contributed only $30,000 towards the current structure. Statement number 2. Brooke County's operating budget for the shelter is $397,000. Jefferson County's budget is $450,000. Hancock County's budgeted only $188,000 this year. For the past 20 years, the foundation supplemented the budget to humanely operate the shelter. Since the Commission removed the foundation, who will supplement the shelter budget? Statement 3. In an April 15th email to the Commissioner's Finance Administrator, Karen Lascola, Joe Barnaby inquires about the salaries of foundation workers at the shelter. When the Commission provides less than 50% of the funding required to operate the shelter, why is Commissioner Barnaby concerned about citizens employed at the shelter and what they are paid? Statement 4. The Commission asked the Foundation to support the May Animal Shelter Excess Levy. With Foundation support, the levy successfully passed by a margin of 72.5%. The voters of Hancock County did not believe the Commission would take over the shelter as part of the levy renewal. Statement 5. In an email dated July 9th to the Commissioners, their administrative assistant states, quote, Ruth Ann dropped off the Foundation bid for the shelter, quote. Yet the Commission at their June 23rd meeting stated, we had no bids. Statement 6. In an email dated June 10th to the Commissioners, Bob Vitus suggests the Commissioners use the following information when talking about the shelter conflict. Talking point 1. Say the contract has to be written to follow state statutes. Quote, Senior attorney for the Legislative Judiciary Committee stated we locally misinterpreted the state code. Talking point number 2. Say people in the county had taken the Commission to court over the fact that the contract with the Foundation had not been updated in almost 20 years.
30 seconds.
This statement is false based upon the West Virginia Supreme Court and the Circuit Court summation regarding the David Klein lawsuit. Talking point number 3. Say Foundation has ignored requests from the Commission and ignored court orders from the magistrates. The Foundation won a Circuit Court ruling, in a case which this statement is based. What part of the above statements are half-truths?
Thank you. Mrs. Rosnick.
Diana Rosnick, Rosnick, and I'm going to continue. Number 7, on or about July 1st, Hancock Animal Shelter Management called people and offered them paid positions at the animal shelter. These jobs were not advertised and were not even approved for hiring until the July 7th commission meeting. The hired dates were then made retroactive to July 1st. 8, in a text message on July 23rd, Mr. Vitus summarized his conversation with foundation members. Quote, I told them the Supreme Court said we had to have a new contract to follow West Virginia statutes, unquote. West Virginia Supreme Court made no such statement. On July 28th, the Commission announced a special June 30th meeting with a stated agenda of, quote, purpose of contract negotiations of Hancock County Animal Shelter. However, the Commissioner's true agenda was to have the Foundation read an apology drafted by Mr. Lucas and for 3 Foundation board members to resign as terms for the Foundation getting an extension to negotiate a new contract. When the negotiated apology was less than expected and the 3 members refused to resign, the Commission promptly canceled the meeting and announced they were taking over the shelter. 10, a shelter employee hired in early July told 2 county residents she was called several times to take a job at the shelter. The identified position was never advertised nor approved by the Commission prior to the new employee assuming her new taxpayer-funded position. 11, on the September 15th Commission meeting, in reference to the June 10th shelter contract bids, Mr. Schwartzmiller stated, quote, we had no bids on the shelter. However, in an email to the Commissioners dated June the 9th, this email had an attached letter from the president of the Foundation on which the county administrator wrote, Ruth Ann dropped off the Foundation's bid for the shelter. Why then did the Commission not recognize the Foundation's bid? Also during the September 15 Commission meeting, Mr. Lucas stated that Carrie McIntyre had approached the Commission a few years ago and asked for additional funds to pay employees, and that the Commission provided these funds. What Mr. Lucas did not say was that the Commission had not allowed the Foundation to pay all operational expenses
30 seconds.
from the excess levy account, which had $335,000 balance beginning fiscal year 2015-2016. Payrolls are an operational expense. The above statements were made publicly over the past several months, but they are factually correct, so we are confused as to what half-truths Mr. Schwartzmiller was referring. Thank you.
Susan Boyce, citizen.
I'm Susan Boyce, B-O-Y-C-E. Someone here solicited a quote from PETA supporting the contention that it's more humane to kill an animal than to let it languish in a cage. While it may be less expensive to kill it if the shelter is operated humanely, as ours was under the Foundation, and I hope it is under the current administration, the animals are well cared for, exercised daily, medicated as needed, and they certainly are not suffering, no matter how long they're housed there. To simply kill them, to arbitrarily suit some politician, is cruel and inhumane. Anyone who brags about being endorsed by PETA is ignorant of what that organization really stands for. Most people only know about PETA through their ads with naked actresses or their crazy demonstrations against the Westminster Dog Show or their pornography site. PETA takes in over $50 million a year from aggressive marketing, but it spends most of that on more advertising and fundraising. They have one shelter in the entire country. It's located on the 4th floor of an office building in Norfolk, Virginia. The legislature of Virginia last year passed a law for the sole purpose of reining in PETA's outrageous kill rate. PETA's records report taking in about 3,400 animals in 2014 and adopting out 23 dogs and 16 cats. About 200 of that 3,400 were sent to high kill shelters to be killed right away or to displace another animal which was killed, and all the others of that 3,400 were killed immediately. And this number did not even include all the animals stolen from their owners, killed, and thrown into dumpsters to try to conceal the fact that they were stolen. Now, someone presenting themselves as a pragmatic farmer who enjoys inviting people onto his property to blast hundreds of mourning doves to kingdom come might agree with PETA's position on killing pets. But no one involved in operating a humane animal shelter could ever want to be associated with such a perverse organization. Why should you care? Because PETA cruises the eastern United States targeting shelters with inexperienced staff and free to a good home ads, offering to find those excess animals a good home. Thanks to their donated vans stocked with syringes, drugs, and garbage bags, those animals are dead before they leave the parking lot.
30 seconds.
Please take a little time to learn the truth, or just Google PETA kills. Finally, according to Article 20 of the West Virginia State Code, it is the job of county humane officers to pick up stray and unlicensed animals and take them to the county shelter, whether or not that shelter is privately or publicly owned or operated. All Mr. Miller or his neighbors had to do is pick up the phone, call Nicole, have her take abandoned animals to the shelter, and the shelter would be required to take them. Done. State code. Thank you.
Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon. Fred Miller, F-R-E-D-M-I-L-L-E-R. I wanted to say a few words about rights and responsibilities. A friend of mine told me a story. He has a house down in West Virginia that has a big oak tree behind it. And he was telling one of his coworkers that he was worried about the oak tree, that if it ever fell, it would crush his house. And the coworker is, I would describe as an environmental sensitive person. And he said, well, you know, that tree has rights. So I think we all recognize there are rights and responsibilities, and we hear a lot of people talking about rights, demanding rights. You don't hear very many people saying, I want to be held to my responsibilities, demanding to be held to their responsibilities. A number of times in these discussions, I've heard people say, put the animals first. The problem with putting the animals first is when you do that, you're putting people second. The county commissioners have a responsibility. The responsibility is to put the people of the county first, the taxpayers of the county first. That doesn't mean they would be cruel. The animals do have rights, and among those rights is the right not to be treated cruelly. But the first responsibility of the commissioners is to the taxpayers and their citizens of the county. And I am personally not a dove hunter. My brother-in-law does conduct a dove hunt. Doves are a game bird. I'm not the one that created that law. The doves are a game bird. I am a birder, and I love to watch birds. But that's the law. So if you don't like that, change the law. And don't just beat up on your neighbor because the neighbor's following the law. Thank you.
Thank you. No item under 9. Oh, I'm sorry. Go to the order. What am I thinking?
Comments.
I was looking for it.
Already.
It's our nose dress. I just can't. Is a tire throw
Get over it.
throw my mug.
Hey, homecoming weekend. You can announce that.
We're just jealous we can't be dressed like that right now.
Go to the order. Karen?
Nothing today, thank you.
Council?
I'm good. Nothing today.
Good.
Nothing additional to share.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once. I can't do it. Ms. Carroll?
Mr. Smith likes us to come to the microphone, even if it's just short. Our annual 4-H recognition banquet I want to invite you gentlemen to attend is on Sunday, November the 13th at our building, the Cumberland City Building, from 2 to 5 p.m., which will be recognizing the work of each of our clubs and some of the outstanding members that we have this year. So we'd like to invite the three of you to attend. Feel free to bring your spouses and let us know. Thank you.
Oh, what else we have back there? Election office? Gearing up?
Yes, we are. Barb and I would like to thank the commissioners for the improvements to the election office. Also, these are our trunk organizers. These will be transporting election items to and from the precincts, and we do appreciate this very much. Also, the last date to register is October the 18th, and we have early voting that starts October the 26th, and it runs through November the 5th.
Okay, thank you. OEM?
Nothing today.
Nothing today. Robert?
Yes, sir, nothing today.
Oh, you can't sit there and throw me off.
And she doesn't look like Brenda.
A couple observations from sitting through month after meeting with dealing with the animal shelter issue. Number one, I for one didn't even know that there was a foundation. When I was voting for the animal levy, I voted for the animals. I didn't realize that there was a foundation. And how many other people are actually out there like that? You know that the money is supposed to go to the animals. That's who I voted for. I wasn't voting for the commission. I wasn't voting for the foundation. I was voting for the animals. My other observation is that I know that Carrie has been here representing the foundation as a secretary, which she should, as well as Ms. Stanford. However, all the other people that typically have talked for the last maybe 2 months are 4 proclaimed non-members. My question is, where are the members of the foundation? You know, I have the 2 that I expect to be here because they're on the board, but where's everybody else? Consistently, meeting after meeting, it's 4 people that are talking that have nothing to do with the foundation. That's just my observation for the last several months.
Thank you. Robert, you pass. George? Mr. Foley? Mr. Foley has nothing today. Commissioner?
Courthouse will be closed Monday in observance of Columbus Day. So, nice long weekend for everybody coming, and that's it.
Don't pass today.
You're going to pass.
Don't pass today.
Well, I'm not going to pass. But this is a business meeting, and we're not going to get in and that's why we sit up here and we listen, we don't make comments, especially if we've been threatened to go to court. That's another reason why we should not make comments. And I'm not going to debate things that were said today. I do want to give an example, though. I do stand by my statement of half-truths. And just one example is they lined us up against other county budgets. Those other county budgets do not include humane officers and personnel in there. So you really can't. If you're going to talk, we've got to talk apples and apples, and you can't the other way. That's what a half-truth is. The next meeting, the 20th at 2:30, gentlemen.
I like these 1 o'clock.
For the motion.
Not now, it's a lot of business.
Well, I mean, you know, there's the reason we did, usually when we started that 12 years ago was because of me having a day job. So, you can change those. I mean, if that's something you guys want to consider moving forward.
We'll wait till you're gone.
Okay.
5 more meetings, Commissioner. We don't want to disturb anything now.
The lame duck comes through. I see. Wow. So the next meeting is October 20th at 2:30. Move to adjourn.
So moved.